here's the thing. You worked so hard to start your social media manager career and you finally secured your dream client. But don't get too excited too early because the hardest part has just now begun. Meaning, how do you actually work with your client and maintain a good, strong relationship so that they want to continue to do business with you again and again? This is an important topic that hasn't been talked about enough. You see, there's so many videos out there that focuses on how to become a social media manager or how to get clients, but not a lot of information that talks about how do you actually handle clients well. So in this video, I'm gonna try to close the gap and I'll walk you guys through the step-by-step on how do you keep your clients happy so that you can retain and even upsell your services to them. So now that you got yourself a new client, it's time to get to work, shall we? But before you can even start posting amazing content and start driving the result that you promised your client you would, you need to get to know your client's business, right? Perhaps you don't need to know their business inside and out, but you need to know enough so that it helps you do your job well as a social media manager. So an onboarding workflow will help you do just that. Now I have a detailed breakdown of my entire onboarding workflow, which I teach inside of my Social Nomad Academy program. But I would say that the most important thing that you need to have in an onboarding workflow is an onboarding form. This is essentially a questionnaire to help collect all the essential information you need to create quality content and manage your client's account effectively. So the first thing that you need to ask in your onboarding form is, of course, the basic account access information. For example, the Instagram password, the Facebook page admin access, Meta Business Manager access, depending on the account that you'll be managing for your client. The second thing that you need to ask them for is the branding information. For example, the logos, the fonts, the exact hex color code for the brand, or other essential branding information that will help you create content that's consistent with your client's business. The third things that you need to ask for in your onboarding form is the business information, such as their business and marketing goals, their ideal client avatar, or the major competitions, and etc. These information will help you develop an effective marketing strategy that will maximize your result. So these are the three most important categories of questions that I would recommend you to include in your onboarding form. But there are other questions that I ask in my onboarding form that will help me manage the client's relationships and expectation, which I will discuss later in this video. So stay tuned. If you don't already have some sort of an onboarding workflow or at least an onboarding form, I'm sorry to say this, but this will set you back a big time, because what's gonna happen is that not only you're gonna waste a huge chunk of your time reaching out to clients too many times with too many questions, which will keep you from actually doing your job, but you will also end up looking really unprofessional and unprepared. But with an onboarding form, you're much more efficient with your time and you're demonstrating a high level of professionalism, and you're showing your clients that you mean business and you're ready to make their goals your own. So if you want to properly onboard your client, make sure to download and use this comprehensive onboarding questionnaire template that I created for you guys, and the link is in the description box. After you've onboarded your client successfully, you need to set up 2 client management systems before you start working with them, okay? The first one is something that I came up with. It's called the Client Social Media Management System, or CSMM. And the other one is the Client Relation Management System, or known as CRM. Let's first talk about CSMM. Now, this is a system that I use to create, manage, and track basically everything related to marketing and content for a client. I've created the system on Notion, and of course, I've made a template available if you want to use my system as well. You know where to download it. So the CSMM system is literally my lifesaver when it comes to marketing and content. Not only it has everything you need to create, manage, and track content across all social media platforms, but it also allows you to strategize your marketing and streamline content batching and content repurposing as well. No offense to anyone who uses a spreadsheet, but if you're still using that, I highly recommend you to switch to Notion. Trust me, it will change your life. Besides CSMM, you also need to set up a CRM system. Now, CRM system is basically a client portal where you can manage all the other important stuff that's not marketing related. Stuff like contracts, proposals, invoices, appointments, emails, and any other important documents. For me, I personally use Dubsado as my CRM system because it's an all-in-one tool with so much customization, and I love that I can automate my workflow, which saved me a lot of time. If you want to give Dubsado a try, make sure to sign up using the link in my description box to get 20% off. Anyways, if you haven't already, make sure to set up these two systems in place because they will keep you super organized and make things so much easier when you're working with clients. I promise you. Another really important thing that you need to do in order to keep your client happy and make the relationship last longer is to provide them with a social media report at the end of the month or any other management period that makes sense for you and your client. Now, most client relationship ends in disaster because a lot of social media managers either try to completely leave out reporting from the process or they just send some sloppy documents stuffed with data to their client on an irregular basis. So whenever I'm doing a report for my client, it forces me to take a closer look at my work and evaluate it. That's when I realize if I'm achieving my goals or am I even going in the right direction. Now, if all the metrics are looking great, awesome. Your report will be the perfect way to prove all the solid work that you've done for your client. Instead of just telling them whenever they ask you how their account is doing, like, oh, your account is doing great. On the other hand, if you didn't hit your goals, that's okay. I know it sucks, but you know what? What might be worse is not communicating transparently with your clients about what's going on their account. It's best to keep the report transparent even if you haven't met the goals that your client is expecting. In that case, it's actually more important that you demonstrate that you figure out the problem and you are optimizing your efforts to improve the situation. This can go a long way in keeping your client happy and keeping the relationship alive. By the way, if you want to learn the exact step-by-step on how to create a professional social media analytic reports that will impress your client in less than 5 minutes, make sure to check out this video right here. You can also download the done-for-you social media reporting template using the link in the description. This template has all the pre-built features for you to showcase your result with an attractive design layout. With these resources, I'm sure you can put together timely, informative, and visually appealing reports that make sense of all the data for your clients. And your clients will really appreciate that. Now, let's move on to another really helpful tip to help you improve your client relationship, and that is managing client expectation. One of the biggest mistakes I've made when I was starting out was over-promising because I wanted to impress my clients so bad that I would promise them some crazy result that I didn't even know if I could possibly achieve. And it almost always ended up with disappointment from both of our ends because the expectation was just too unrealistic. So think of it like a romantic relationship. Unrealistic expectation can lead to unhealthy relationship. So same thing with a client, right? So what I've learned is that you should always aim to set realistic expectations during your onboarding. For example, first, set clear, defined goals and make sure that these goals are actually achievable. For example, don't promise your client that you can get them 10K followers in a week if you're actually not capable of doing that. And the second thing is to set clear boundaries of the things you do and the things you don't do. Otherwise, your client might expect you to be available 24/7 and ask you to do some crazy things that you didn't even sign up for. Third, make it clear about what happens if things change. For example, you might want to make it clear that the deadline will be moved back if certain things are delayed because that happens all the time, trust me. Or let your client know ahead of time that your price is subject to change on your contract, right? And last but not least, put everything in writing and draw up a contract before you go ahead and work with them. Make it clear what your clients will and won't be getting for their money, as well as a schedule or cancellation clauses and a breakdown of costs. If you've never done a contract before, you can hire a solicitor to draft up a generic template contract for you, or you can use Dubsado, which is a CRM system tool that I mentioned earlier. It has a ton of beautiful pre-built template that you can use. Again, link is in the description if you want to get 20% 10% off from Dipsado. Now that you know all the tactics that you can use to keep your clients happy and make the relationship last, another really important key factors to keep in mind when it comes to building a successful social media management business is to invest in the right softwares and tools to make your job easier. So check out this video if you're interested in finding out all the tools that I use to work with clients and how I use those tools. Or you might want to check out this playlist right here if you want to deep dive into other areas of social media management. That's it for me for today's video. I will see you guys in the next one.